watching technique, taking mental notes. So
I don't know if anybody's ever been at a place where they might say to you, don't tap into the medium. You're gonna take, you're gonna move, take some of their energy, take some of their vibration, whatever the word is. And that's really not correct. Because anybody who has some sensitivity is probably feeling things already and sensing things already. So if you hear somebody say, oh, don't tap into the medium, it has nothing to do with you, it has more to do with their insecurity, as has the medium or the moderator or whoever it is. So tap in, feel what you feel. Get the sense of if somebody's working, oh, I got that same feeling, or I got that in a little bit of a different way. That's using your own sensitivity and feeling what and how the medium's working.
And sometimes, oh, I'm sorry.
When I was with your sister-in-law, I felt everyone's emotion shift in the room. So I feel like a lot of people that weren't with you felt her or felt the emotion connected with her. They didn't have to tap into me. They already felt her presence. They felt that energy. I could feel the shift happen at least on this side of the room, I could feel it. So I feel like everyone's way more aware or tapped in, if you want to say it, than you think. You're kind of syncing vibrationally.
And Seal, you had something you were saying?
It's not important.
How do you, I know he said to empathize, not sympathize.
You.
Yeah.
Because I don't recall anybody else. But anyway, how do you know, if it's a really emotional kind of situation.
Did everybody hear the question?
No.
Okay, can I repeat it?
Yeah.
The question was, when Arlene was up working, Bill had said when she was getting emotional, empathize, don't sympathize. And her question was, how do you kind of do that without getting caught up in the emotion? Is that how I heard it?
And the truth is, you do get caught up a little bit in the emotion, and we're trained or we're training to not do that. So you have to ask them to back away the energy. It's a great tool to use to be able to feel how someone feels in their physical form or their emotional form. But then if I'm getting caught up and crying with you, we're not getting very far.
Right.
So he was basically saying, ask them to remove some of that emotion from you so you can stay in a place where you can do your work. Yeah.
Because it can be very emotional, some of these things, yes? As we all know, as we feel, if you're working mediumistically or not, you can feel the emotion when somebody else gets emotional. You can feel that, and so it's working with it in a way of not allowing it to affect the quality of the evidence and the information given. And that can be a fine line for some, and other people can kind of, okay, that's here, and you separate it out. Other people, it kind of gets a little closer and a little bit cross sometimes, and we have to work to separate it out in that way.
It's also stretching the medium. It's called stretching.
Oh,
It's
stretching.
called the Star Trek concept. You go where no man's gone before. You stretch your sensitivity out to perceive different levels of different communication. And you become more comprehensive as a medium in the way that you work, because you know that your mediumship is flexible. So, and if somebody doesn't kick ass or encourage you in the right way, you're liable to sit in a comfort zone. And we don't want you to sit in a comfort zone. We want you to extend your boundaries, and we want you to take the risk. And that's how your mediumship grows, by taking the risk and by going there and getting it right, and knowing that the next time you can hold 3 contacts instead of 2.
Is that a challenge?
And it's a challenge. And the way I taught myself was with 6 different contacts simultaneously. That's the way I taught myself.
Yeah, that was the question I was going to ask next. What was the most contacts you've had?
I trained myself with 6, and the reason was because of the Levi's, Wranglers, and Calvin Klein concept. Because Levi's, Wranglers, and Calvin Kleins have pockets in them, their jeans, and so you can have 6 pockets, and so you can put each communicator in a different place, and you don't have to think about the energy of the communicator anymore. All you have to think is where you've located it. And the moment then, and you made reference to that, Ali, the moment you just turn your attention to that pocket, then you automatically go back into that energy. You don't have to think about going back into it, you go back into it automatically. And then when you put that into that pocket and you go to that one, you pick out the energy of the next person. So I train myself with 6. I know I'm capable of doing more, but for management purposes, I did that. And it gives you the flexibility of working with a spirit world, multitasking. Most mediums, and you find this in the UK, most mediums are very poor at multitasking. They work on what's called sequential mediumship. They work one communicator at a time. When they're done with that communicator, they kick them into touch and they go for a second. That's called sequential mediumship. Now that works if the communication works. If that communicator's a bummer, then the medium tends to ditch them and go for a new communicator. But if that communicator is the one that the client wants, and you can't work with that communicator, you can't ditch the one that they're looking for. So by multitasking, you can ask your good communicator about the problem communicator. And you can only do that with multitasking. And the client doesn't need to know your techniques, they just need to know you've got access to the information. But the British way is one communicator at a time. And it does not work well if you have a problem communicator. So they're trained to go for 2, 3, 4 communicators simultaneously. Then they cherry pick the strongest communicators, and they can ask the strongest communicators, it's called dialogue. They can ask the strongest communicators about the weaker ones. So they're saying to the strong community, tell me about dad, tell me about grandma, and they tell you about dad and grandma. So you access the information. The client doesn't need to know where you get it. They just are interested that you can get it. And with multitasking mediumship, you can get that easily, very well, and you're not disappointing the client. And that's it's where it comes from.
Barb?
Yeah, I had a question, I think it's for Victoria, the artist. I was curious as to how you get how you receive your information.
You mean whether I'm seeing if you're.
Are you seeing it, or is it just coming through you?
Oh, no.
For Victoria. Maria?
For Victoria.
Yes. That's okay.
Go into the sleep mode. Hit the button for
Victoria, why don't
sleep.
can you come up so we can see?
Well, it's kind of a mixture of things. A lot of it's actually just putting lines down and they'll feel right or wrong. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes I'll get a little flash of a piece of a face, like I'll see just this curve, and that's it. I don't get a whole face. And it just kind of
So it's
stitches
just coming
itself
through you.
together. Yeah. It's sort of a weird process, but it works.
Yeah. No, I understand.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, great. Nice
You'll
job.
see her too, like kind of take the eraser and like, it'll make it fuller here. It's almost
Right.
like it's weird to watch her draw it. I mean, it's cool, but yeah, like they'll make her say, oh, it's a little fatter here, and then she'll
Yeah.
move these lines, and then you're like, oh, wow, it's chubbier, yeah.
So you hear them too, talking to you?
Sometimes, usually they're complaining.
They want to make sure it's right.
But it's
right?
dialogue. It's dialogue.
Right, right.
Everything is dialogue. And if you think of the word dialogue, that's not a one-way street. Dialogue is a two-way street, where you're talking to the spirit world, they're answering you. So you build up a communication process that allows the communication to take its form, its shape, its own identity. And each medium will access a different element of that dialogue. And that's the fun part about it. But they're all taught to multitask. They're all taught how to tune into other mediums. They're taught how you can work with an artist, and the artist can work separately, independently, and the mediums can work with the artist on their art. And that's the way they're taught, so that they can work with anybody, anywhere, whatever the form of mediumship is. And we all pick up a different element. As an example, when Mr. Wonderful was getting his drawing, him being nice to you. I'm not always nice to everybody, but I'm being nice to you because you deserve it. But I would have said to you in the communication was something that the girls and boys didn't talk about. I would have said, look for some of the communication connected with somebody called Pablo. And that there's a history also around the grandfather and the history with somebody called Pablo. Then that would have given you a place to look in the history. So we each pick up different things. And our job is to give you hints and tips as to where you look and how you look and what you look for. And most people don't know their ology. Do you know who their ology is? A spiritual helper called Genie.
Genealogy.
They don't know their ology. And it encourages you to look at your family history. It encourages you to understand your family history. Who are the people? Where do they come from? And the more you know about your family, the more the Spirit World will bring in evidence to support what you know. And so it's your job then not to believe what they say, even though it's correct, but not to believe it, but to research it. That's the basis of evidence, is that it's researchable and you can validate it through your own research. And that's their job, to give you enough information to do that. That's the purpose. But these ladies, and we'll include Alex in this as well,
Not really.
as a gentleman, they're working hard on what they're doing, and they're showing that the teaching they're getting works, because what you're experiencing is it in live action.
Bill, can I share what you just said about genealogy?
Uh-huh.
I was a student 2 years ago, and I got a message from a classmate about genealogy, my ancestor, who I don't know. I thought, I'm just nobody. Make things short, I started the genealogy 2014, but I got the wrong path. And then I keep coming to class here, all these classmates gave me a lot of information that I don't know, can't validate. Anyway, but then I did a lot of research. Like he said, do genealogy. I did my genealogy, and I found that my grandfather was the first emperor of China, the Zhou dynasty. And for this class here, it's amazing that I came back, not focused on mediumship. I'm not as good, anyway, but all the classmate messages I got here helped me a lot to know myself and my family. Even though I can't validate a lot of stuff, I know a lot of stuff, but everything they say, boom, boom, boom. So I encourage you to come here, not just for mediumship, but be surprised when I learned. I learned my ancestor 2,000 years ago.
You can find yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Feel
Julie.
yourself.
Does anybody else have another question about mediumship before, yes?
I have a quick question. Did you all realize that you were sensitive? Or you just came to the class and you were able to develop it? I know everyone
Okay,
has it.
smart ass. That's definitely
Can
true.
I say something? I came here because my mom drugged me. She's over there. And my sister, and my best friend, well, now we're all, anyways. I said, I don't want to be a medium, but I feel like everyone has experiences in their life, whether that's seeing something, feeling something, you have things that happen. And what I learned from them, you're not born like, everyone, if you have a soul and a willingness, spirit wants to work with you. And I had no idea how healing it was to develop this within myself, that I could do it, and now I want to be a platform medium. I'm working hard towards it, but when I first came, that wasn't, my point is, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. There's no one here that can't develop. Everyone's sensitive, it's just developing it to the level that you want to, really.
Can I say something? When you started.
I've only 1 year.
Oh,
I've been doing this for 1 year.
I know.
So 1 year, that's it. I started with them, quite by accident. I went to a class, I'm like, okay, And I was like, I don't, and they were like, okay, so you're gonna get a communicator. I'm like, do what? Like the first exercise. I'm like, and I thought I was guessing, but then they're like, yes. And I'm like, God, they're all saying yes to me, but they're just being nice, and you just kind of feel that way. But over time with them, they really teach you how to develop quickly, that there's not this big, you have to do this elaborate thing to get ready, and you have to meditate. It's really just breathe up. Who's there? That's literally how simple it is.
And suck up to us.
But 1 year in, I was on platform at somewhere called Lilydale, which is a very well-known spiritual community. That's huge, and I think it has to do with my willingness, not that I'm special, just my willingness, and having really good teachers that taught us a very simple way of doing it.
Because
Well,
otherwise you'll
I
not
just
catch
want to
your attention.
reiterate what Arlene said. For me, my experience 23 years ago is when my husband passed, and that is how I tapped into the spirit world. And then I decided to come here for classes and continue learning. So, you know, you never give up on learning more and more, how to be a medium. But everybody has that gift. Anybody here in this audience would want to participate in classes here, I highly recommend it. We have, you know, we have different events too, different people come in from all over, you know, Britain and all over, and Scotland, of course. And so you know, everybody has that gift. It's just a matter of tapping into it. And once you tap into it, it really changes your life.
I think one thing that was brought up too is that this job is never done. This learning is never done. And when you are interested in it and you want to keep going, there's ways to do that. If you've never done anything, there's ways to get started. So, you know, the encouragement here is we don't have to come here, although we'd love you to be here, but the encouragement is to tap into what's within you. What is your interest? What do you want to find? And go out and seek it and work at it. It's like developing a muscle. You know, when you go to the gym, the first time, not so much success, but if you go over and over and over again, you start to build those muscles and you start to build that confidence. And that's what this group and the people who are not up here tonight are getting, is the confidence to try. And that's all there is. That's all the spirit world needs, is the confidence to try. So we want to thank you for coming out tonight and supporting the students. We also want to thank the students because whether you gave one contact, whether you did one drawing, whether you did back and forth, all of you did tremendous. So you should be very proud of that. Now, one thing I do want to mention is because you're here, it entitles you to another freebie, okay? This Sunday, these students and the students who are not up here this evening have an afternoon of private, well, I shouldn't say private because sometimes it's not as private, but one-on-one readings. So you can come on Sunday afternoon about 10 to 1 and you'll get 3 half-an-hour sessions with one of our group here, with 3 different mediums. So Kim in the back, who's ready to go home, has a list. If you can come, please come. You get, there's no charge to it because what you paid tonight is that. And it gives, again, the students an opportunity to work in a different way, not a demonstration way, in a one-on-one way, which is very different. So if you can have the time, if you do have the time, if you want to bring a friend with you, you can, but just sign up with Kim before you leave so we know how many people to expect. You're here at 10 to 1. You'll go over some kind of ground rules and then we'll, you know, have at it. All right? We'll also have some coffee and usually a lot of carbohydrates around. So you're welcome again to stay. If you can come in the morning at 10:30 for the service and have that experience, please do, please join us for that. So again, thank you guys for taking time out of your evening to come, to sit, to help the students, to be active in this process and to be very kind and to help them along their path. And again, you guys tremendous evening. And Maria, thank you very much for joining us via Zoom. So thank you, everybody. Please drive home safely tonight. Hopefully we will see you on Sunday. Please see Kim on your way out.